So Carly Wallace started in January of 2023. So like a year and about 2 months ago. Before she came here to Globe Life Family Heritage, she was a recruiter for the Air National Guard in the Laramie, Wyoming area. That's awesome. Carly and her husband, Zach, moved from Laramie, which is a small town in Wyoming, to Nashville, Tennessee. Go to Nash Vegas with their 2-year-old twin boys, Levi and Graham. Okay. So just uprooted their life and moved to a brand new city in Nashville, Tennessee. That's awesome. So just among the successes that Carly's has seen so far in her first year. So this is her stat line. Like this is what she's accomplished so far in just her first year, guys. She wrote over 370,000 of premium in her first year. And this year in 2024, she's already over 80,000 of premium. Over 80,000 of premium, and she's training. She's training right now. Her dad in Colorado. She was the second best rookie of the year in her agency's history. She wrote over 20 Eagles in her first year here. And she had a week where she wrote right at 50,000 of premium. That was her best week. It was just a hair right under 50,000 of NAP in a week. That is awesome. She's had 17 glow weeks and 15 greenouts. She was the governor of Wyoming, and she was ranked 24 in all of the agents last year in all of Family Heritage. So in all of 2023 for veteran agents and rookies, she was number 24 nationwide. And she is currently ranked number 15th in sales for this year in 2024. And she's ranked 13th as an agency builder for Team NAP. So she's been here just right over a year. And not only is her personal sales at number 15 in the nation, her team sales are at number 13. And they're already over 160K so far for the year. She's just running, gunning. I guarantee she's going to be hitting market director here in no time and then just dominate the career track. So, guys, we got Carly Wallace talking about today just how to be a top producer. She's also going to talk a little bit about the quick intro that we put into our sales talk recently. So, yeah, I will shift it over to you, Mrs. Carly.
Thanks, Kyle. I appreciate it. So excuse my voice. It really is like 6 o'clock. I woke up 30 minutes ago. It's fine. The couple things that I was asked to kind of talk about was the quick intro and then how to be a high performer. Now I got to be honest, because you'll always get honesty from me. That's why Maria likes me talking on Sales Academy, because I'm pretty real. I personally do not think of myself as a high performer. I think of myself as a when it counts performer, and that's something I'm working on. For me, a high performer is a consistent performer. Sounds like one of you guys has a very consistent high performer. An Eagle every week for 8 weeks is crazy. That is fantastic. That's better than anything I've ever done. And it's even if it's just a green out every week or just submitting every week, whatever. For me, that is a much higher performer. But I do consider myself a when it counts performer. And I think the reason for that is because I balance my sacrifice. I have 2-year-old twins at home and my husband holds it down for us. I have been home 1 week in the last 2 months where I've gotten to see my boys, and that is a huge sacrifice. And for me, I'm boiling it down to short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. Right now, my boys aren't going to remember that I'm gone. It's going to impact them. It's going to impact me. I'm super homesick all the time. But I got to make it worth it. If I'm going to miss the time, it's got to be worth it so that down the road, I never miss anything. And if I want to be somewhere or I want to be part of something, I always can, because I've done the sacrifice now to make sure that my team and my own personal success has created financially and time-wise something that I can afford to be away, to go on vacations and t-ball games and whatever else that the boys want to be part of. So for me, it comes down to sacrifice. And I would say that that is the biggest argument for anybody who is who's going to do this career, especially with a family and wants to be a high performer. I am not somebody who's good at being in the middle. 24th for the company was cool. Would have been a lot cooler to be in the top 10. Would have been way cooler to be number 1. And so that's the goal this year, is less on my personal side, but more on my team side. And I'm dumping a lot of my energy into building my team and giving them the best of me. But that comes from leading from the front. I can't have a team who's trying to learn how to right eagles if their trainer can't even do that. And so when we're in the field and we're training, the goal is that we both write eagles. And I've done that successfully with 6 of the 10 agents that I have trained. We both write eagles their first week. That's the goal. So that's a huge part. The other part for me is going to be consistently showing up for my clients on the cold calling time that I actually have available in the field, being there and being prepared to be there for it, consistently asking for referrals, and consistently showing up in the ways that I need to, whether it makes sense or not. But the best way to do that is to take it into small bites. The quickest way to eat an elephant is 1 bite at a time. And so that is something that I internalize big time for me. The only reason that 20K, 30K, 50K, even 100K in a week feels big is because we let it feel big, because we haven't personally done it. So it feels huge. Ken Madsen, actually, I love hearing this story from Devin Beck all the time. Devin Beck is a regional director in Altitude, where I came from. And he said that when he sat down with Ken his first year, Ken was like, what do you think is the issue? Why aren't we producing at a higher level? And he's like, well, I'm trying. He's got all these sticky notes on his dash of his goals and things like that. And he's very good at knowing what his goals are. And Ken said, Devin, you want to know what your problem is you think $100,000 a year is a lot of money.
Yeah.
You think that's a lot. So it is. The only reason that 100K in a week feels like a lot is because you let it feel like a lot. So take it into small bites, right? Break that barrier for yourself. My first week in the career, I wrote 16,000. I could not beat that until I was 8 months in the business. And we know I was better. You can't not get better if you're here for 8 months and you're doing the right things, right? So I knew I was better, but it's because 16,000 felt like a lot. I was like, I got lucky, or I robbed myself of my wins, or things like that. I made it feel like a lot. And so now I don't think that way. I think, let's see if we can be number 1 today. On Train Mores and things like that, my goal is, let's see if I can be number 1 producer today. Then I just do that every day, and all of a sudden you're the top producer for the week. And the big thing with that is, if you're top producer for the week, that means you're protecting a lot of families. And that 20,000 doesn't feel so big because there's a lot of people doing it, right? They talk about the 4-minute mile all the time. It felt huge until one person did it, and then everyone was doing it. Well, 50K felt big to me until Jeremiah Tatum beat my happy butt at 77,000 in a week. And I was like, oh, that feels big. Let's shoot for that next. And it's the same way in your day, right? 25 contacts feels like a lot when you start the day. Put 25 M&Ms in a cup, move one to the next cup every time you finish a contact. And when you do a demo, eat your M&Ms and don't go home until the M&Ms are all gone. That's easy. You can see that, you can physically, tangibly touch that and adjust it, and you feel like you're getting somewhere. And this job is not easy, right? We talk about it all the time. It's simple, it's not easy. Being told no all the time is not easy, especially when people won't even hear you out. And so the things that I am strongest at are group presentations. Really good at a group presentation, and that makes me a high producer because you're in front of a lot of people all at once. The other thing that I'm really good at is sitting, excuse my language, in the shit with my clients. Sit in the shit with them, right? So really quick, we'll talk about group presentations because that goes into quick intros. So group presentations are fantastic because you're getting to show a lot of people what you're about, right? Like, really quickly, let me show you. And I think the misunderstanding that a lot of people have is they think our job is to sign people up for our coverage. That's not our job. Just so you know, that's not the job. The job is to educate people on what we do so that they can make an educated decision, whether it's something that makes sense for their family or not. That's our job. And if you go in with that headspace, you will be a lot more successful because you're about the client. Let me show you what I do and see if it's a benefit for you. Amberly Kessler said it best, right? She said, if you are sitting there pushing insurance on people, people don't want to be overcome, they won't buy from you. If you're simply finding a need and filling it, you will be successful every time. So that is the biggest part of it. Well, setting up group presentations and quick intros gives us an opportunity to do that in a fast way. A quick intro takes 90 seconds and it's 3 pages, right? We have our first page, which literally says cancer, heart, accident. That's what people know what we do. Quickly grab a story. What am I doing? Why am I here? Who are you? Right? So I'm saying, yep, I was just over with so-and-so. They had mentioned that they went through cancer a couple years ago. It was pretty hard on them. Who's the person closest to you who's been through something like cancer? and get a story and be like, yeah, exactly. So you could imagine how that would impact our families straight to the iceberg page. So when we go through things like cancer, there's always two types of costs involved in that. The first is your direct, that's everything health insurance covers. I would assume you have some kind of major medical. Is that fair? They say yes or no. Fantastic. You're going to love what I do. I cover the indirect cost. Do you know what I mean by indirect? And they're going to say yes, or they're likely going to say, no, I have no idea. Fantastic. That's why I'm here. You don't have to know. That's my job. Then I'm going to say, so in your situation, right? I don't know you super well. Are you married? You have kids? What does your spouse do? Oh, stay-at-home superhero? Fantastic. Oh, your spouse is a lineman? That's awesome. Amazing. Let me ask you, God forbid you or your spouse or even your kids were to go through something like cancer. You couldn't work for 6 to 9 months or longer if it was really serious. How would that impact your guys' family? And they're going to say, it would be horrible. It would devastate us, right? And they always give you one word. Why is that? Dig deeper. Why is that? Tell me about that. Well, we're not working. We can't pay the bills, all these things. So you've built the need and you've only been talking to them for like 30 seconds. Okay. Then we're going, yep, that's exactly what I do. I'm going to the 2 circles page. So when we go through things like that, your health insurance pays doctors and hospitals. What I do is I pay you cash directly and you spend it on whatever you need to. What most people love about it is that since the payouts are so high, there's plenty of money to cover all of those bills that you just mentioned, as well as a deductible that you mentioned, as well as acting as a health insurance because you don't have one in place right now, and cover everything else that's going on. So you bring peace, so you're not worried about getting back to work. You can worry about getting better or being there with your spouse while they're fighting for their lives, or your kids while they're going through the worst time in their life. And the cool part about this is that if you never use it, you actually get all of that back. I'm going to read a testimonial that fits them. A lot of times we do Linda Jacobs, right? Used it for leukemia, got like 35 grand at it, got $6,500 back when she was done, right? We know that there's a return of premium. But a lot of times if it's like a business owner, I'm reading Karen DeMello, $1.6 million through 16 years of ovarian cancer, and her health insurance canceled on her after month 2. We single-handedly funded all of that. So there we're talking about, not only do I get my money back, but there's no caps or limits. I'm closing the iPad and I'm saying, what do you think? When's a good time to come and chat with you about this? And I'm being assumptive, right? I'm not asking, is that something you're interested in? Because of course they're interested in it, right? It protects them if they need it. And if they don't need it, they get it back, right? Who would not be interested in that? I'm saying, when is a good time to chat with you about that? And they're telling me, or they're going, well, how does that work? Cool. If you've got 5 minutes, let's sit down and I'll share it with you. And we're going into it right then and there. Group presentations are similar, right? Setting those up is similar because you want to be with a decision maker. That could be an office manager, an owner, whoever. You have to be the decision maker. Well, the thing with decision makers is they're busy. If it's a successful business, they do not have time. So you have to say, this is who I am. This is what I do. Are you interested or not? Right? Because I'm saving my time too. My time is valuable. So I'm not trying to sell every person that I'm with if they are not interested, right? I'm going to sit down for 20 minutes with you and go through a demo and you're going to tell me you weren't interested like you told me 15 minutes ago when I came in and you're like, I'm not interested. You got through it. It's not my jam. I'm not wasting my time on that because that's other people who could be getting protected that I now don't have time for. So get to the point. That's the point of a quick intro. And then with those decision makers, this is what it is. And again, I'm not asking for permission. I'm asking for when. So, yep, I work with this business, this business, this business, this business. What we do with everyone is we set up a time that I bring you guys breakfast or lunch. It takes me about 5 minutes to go through everything. And then whoever's interested, I'll sit down with one-on-one, and whoever it's not their jam, no big deal. At least they know it exists for them. And when is the best time to do that? I have Thursday at 3 o'clock or I have Friday at 7 a.m. Which one's easier for you guys? Choice of 2 positives. See, I'm not going, would you be okay if I came in and I shared this with your people? No, I don't have time for that. I'm saying, when am I coming in? Because obviously you want to take care of your people, like all these other people I just shared with you want to take care of their people. So of course you want to do that. Why wouldn't you? You're a good manager, right? Or you're a good owner. You care about your people. So you want to offer them the best stuff. The other part is being informed on how we work differently than other companies, right? Knowing that AFLAC won't let them do less than 3 people to do a payroll. And then when we can do individual stuff, they can, but they won't because it's annoying and it doesn't make as much money for them because they get like 10% commission off of stuff. So going through things like that and being like, yeah, the fantastic part about this is you don't have to do this through payroll. How awesome is that? The last thing I want to do is add more work onto your plate. I'm going to handle everything from meeting with all of them, doing all the information. They can call me for claims. They can call me for adjustments in their coverage. You don't have to do any of it. You get to offer all the protection. You get to be the hero in the situation. And I'm going to handle all the stuff that you don't want to do. And they're like, I love that. because I'm showing them you have nothing to lose by me coming in here and everything to gain. I'm not going to make your life hard. I'm going to make your life easier. And they're all for it. So that is huge, 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 huge. The last thing that is going to be in being a high performer is strictly going to be this, your mindset. Oh, this thing is so hard, right? I know we fight these battles every day. The hardest battle I ever fight is the one between my ears. God, she's not very nice sometimes, right? And that's for all of us, right? This person in our head is not very nice. We're so scared to go into the next business because what if they don't want to talk to us? Or what if they're mean? Or what if they love it and then I have to do my job, right? Like all of these things. What if I can't do it correctly? What if, what if, what if, what if, what if? And Terrell Walker says, change your what ifs to why not? Why not learn to be better at my job? Why not take the rejection so I can be closer to the next person who's going to say yes? But that's really hard to do real, right? It's easy to say, oh yeah, I'm just going to go into 25 businesses today. But then you're standing in front of number 5 and you're like, oh my God, oh, I don't want to go in here, right? So there's a couple things that I do to help with that. First of all, affirmations. People make so much fun of me, but I make my team listen to the affirmation song by Snoop Dogg. It's a kid's song to teach them what affirmations are. But the thing is I make them sing along with it. Because when you say things positive about yourself out loud, you're more likely to believe it, right? When we say things to the universe, it makes it permanent, just like writing them down. So say those things out loud. It's a fun song. I love the song. I know the whole thing by heart. It's great. The next thing is, if that's too cheesy for you, there is an app called I Am, and it is an affirmations app. I think it costs like $10 a year. It's cheap. And you can set it for every amount of time. It sends you an affirmation. And the best thing I can tell you is say that crap out loud. Same reason, right? Makes it permanent. Mine does every 10 minutes. I bet you I have one right now. And when it comes up, as long as I'm not with a client, so they think I'm crazy, I will say that out loud. So right now, my affirmation is, I am thankful for how the universe watches over me. Gratitude, right? Like, let's be grateful. Then sometimes it says, I deserve success. I deserve love. And I say these things out loud and it makes them real and it makes me believe them. So that's a huge, huge help, because a lot of times that 10-minute point, so I'm sitting in the car and I can't get out. And if I say that out loud and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, I'm about to do what I'm supposed to do, right? The next thing is putting good stuff in your brain. I cannot put this out enough. My first 6 months in this business, when I was driving to the field, I was listening to murder podcasts. Do you know how bad that is for your headspace to go talk to people about accidents and injuries and cancer? Don't listen to murder podcasts on the way to the field. If you really love that stuff, listen to it on the way home as a celebration for your day. If you really love it, right? On the way to the field, though, has to be positive. It could be, sometimes it's praise and worship music for me to balance myself in the gratitude. I do that about midway point through like train wars, because I'm starting to get complacent. I'm starting to feel like, oh, I'm the best in the world. Girl, you're blessed. That's what you are. You're not the best, you're blessed. So that's a huge, huge part of it. The other thing is we have fantastic resources available to us. The Elevators podcast is amazing. Not only does it give you technical advice to get better about things, but the biggest thing that it does is there's a lot of things on there that just talk about being a good human with good humans. And so that is really helpful, because again, it's not about us. We want to be with our clients. We want to sit with our clients in their worst moments and be there with them. It's not about what you say, it's how you say it. But if you're too busy thinking about your own stuff, you're never going to get there. And that's not a good place to be. You have to be about your client in that moment. So Elevators podcast, books. I only read 10 books and read them over and over and over again. You don't have to read 100 great books. You have to read 10 fantastic books 100 times. So some of my top picks are Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I just finished that one. Oh, Chef's Kiss, fantastic book. Some of it's a little crazy. It's not my jam. I will not be running on 2 broken legs. I'm good. But the mental strength of that book is huge. Greatest Salesman in the World. And then everyone who knows me knows my favorite book of all time is The Power of One More. Mental, physical capabilities. That book is the best. If you're going to take one thing from this, go read that book. Just go read that book. And then the last thing I'm going to tell you is about sitting in the shit with your clients. Real as I can be, right? So people share with us the worst moments in their lives every day. And it's not easy to share that. So when somebody tells you a story, thank you so much for sharing that with me. I know that stuff is not easy to talk about, but it is real. And I appreciate you being real with me. Taking that seed and you hold on to it and you give it love, and you're not using those things against them, you're using them with them. Then it's going to be all going into how we run our business. So yeah, I'm building the need. I have emotion in the things that I'm saying, because I really do mean, like, this stuff could be really big for you. I don't know if you guys have had big claims come in. I've had 3. I have a client right now who's in heart failure. Her husband had already had a heart attack, and I talked him into still getting her covered, even though he had already had a heart attack. And thank God we did, because now his wife is financially going to be okay. Right. I've had a client who has a traumatic brain injury from an ATV accident. He's sitting about $36,000 so far. And he's still in really bad shape. He was in the hospital from November 12th to December 22nd in a long-term care facility after that. And then I have a client who lost her husband back in September to a car accident. So I've had big things. So when I say these things to people, they're real to me, because I've had them happen to family members. I've had them happen to friends. I've had them happen to clients, right? So they're real. So that is given in my emotion in my demo. So it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And the last thing is how you're making recommendations to your clients on policies. I tell my clients every time, look, I'm going to show this to you. And if it makes sense to you, fantastic. But I want you to walk away educated either way. And if it's for you, great. If it's not, that's no big deal. At least you know what it is. And so I'll go through everything with them, and then I'll get to the end and I said, I'm not going to tell you that you need the highest level of coverage right off the bat. I'm going to show you the numbers that go with that. And I do the math with them. So what I do is I ask them straight up, hey, what are you guys bringing in household income weekly, monthly, whenever you get paid? And they'll tell me, say it's like $2,000 biweekly. I'm dividing that by the number of days that they go to work, and I'm finding out what their average daily income is. And then I relate that to the hospitalization benefit. So if they make $200 a day, fantastic. So our standard level of coverage would keep your living costs about the same. We always want to go up one level because we know those expenses go up, right? We already talked about that. Cancer and heart, it's about $10,000 extra a month, and accidents and injuries about $6,700 per event. So we want to move up one level. So the best coverage for you would be a preferred. And it's usually within their budget because it makes sense with their costs and they understand it. They understand where that number is coming from. I'm not just saying, oh, get this because you should. That's not where it's coming from. I take my fiduciary responsibility extremely personally and extremely seriously. So I'm showing them this is where that number is coming from. If they make like $350 a month, I'm probably still going to stick with the preferred. It's going to keep your cost of living the same. It gives you another extra $50 a day to cover those extra expenses, right? And then if they're sitting at like $400 a day, you need to go with the elite. And I tell people, look, if the elite across the board is too expensive for you, I get it. It's a lot of money. What most people will do is they'll do preferred everything else, and then they're going to go ahead and do an elite accident because people use it the most frequently, and the first time you use it, it pays for itself. So the majority of what I sell is preferred across the board with an elite accident. Almost every single client I have. My average package size is about $2,500. When someone just asked what my A to T was, it's 107%. So I don't lose a whole lot of clients because I sit with them and they know me. And even when they do call in because it's too expensive or they want to cancel for whatever reason, I listened to my Elevators podcast. I learned to talk to them about reducing so they don't lose all the money that they've put into that. And that's going to keep business on the board. Sometimes it's reducing costs, so it's cheaper. Bare minimum, bring it down to a base until they get through this tough time, and then bring it back up. Right now it's tax season. People are getting slammed. I've had a reduction, I swear to God, every day this week, but we're at a preferred level. So we've got tons of room to adjust, and they can afford to do so. And they're keeping all the money they've put in, because what you don't want to do is when money's tight, find out that I'm about to give away $1,000 to $2,000 that I've put into this policy already. I'm not trying to throw away money because I'm already out of money, right? That doesn't make sense. This is a savings account if they don't need it. Home office doesn't like us to say that, but that's what it is. So there you go. I'm out of time. So if anybody has questions.
That is awesome, Carly. Yeah, guys, we got a little bit of time. Any questions for Mrs. Wallace?
Hey, Carly, that was awesome. I took so many notes. I'm super excited to get to now share the quick intro in Sales Academy starting next week. It's going to be awesome. I do have a question more so along the lines of field training. So for all the field trainers on this call, that is an aspirational goal to both perform at a high level the first week you're in the field with somebody in their new territory. What are some tips you have for those of us who are field training for us to produce at a high level and the new agent the first week in their new turf?
So first work the system, right? So your first day, they're purely shadowing you. So this is your time to get your business submitted, right? If we're field training, we get 1, maybe 2 days to submit on our own, and you need to get your business on the board because your team that's not training this week is counting to follow your lead, and they'll always do 50% of what you do. So you need to make sure that that's in place. The second day, you're doing the first half of the day, they're doing the second half of the day, and then back and forth on Wednesday, and then all of them on Thursday. I am stacking the week on Monday and Tuesday. I'm trying to get group presentations in line for Thursday or Friday so they can actually see what that looks like before I leave them. I am trying to get referrals. I'm doing field recruits during that time because then they can learn how to recruit in the field. Thanks, Kyle, for that. You've taught me all of my exact what I say for field recruiting. You guys have like one of the best teachers for recruiting that there is. They literally use his entire thing in 201. Fantastic. I'm doing all of the things that I want people to be doing that week. Well, if you do the things that you're supposed to be doing and you're using the system the way it's supposed to work, magical things happen, especially when you're as good as you are that you're field training. You're clearly a good sales professional, otherwise you wouldn't be training. So if you're putting the pressure on when somebody's following you, the chances that you're going to give your very best is way higher because someone else is relying on you to learn. So you're going to give your very best every time. You're also going to be held accountable all the time. And so just doing the system the way the system was written will keep you there. You're also going to be pipelining for them. You have to build up that pipeline, right? Like if they have nothing to look forward to next week, what are the chances that they let the fear get the best of them? Really high. If you have like 6 appointments for them next week, they're going out to work and I'm putting one on every single day. So they have to go there. And once they're there, they're going to keep going. So it's giving them hope. It's giving them things to look forward to. It's giving them success and they're seeing success. So they know that it's possible.
Love that. Thank you.
Boom. Thank you, Carly. I know you got a lot of things to do over there. You're training your father out there in Colorado. That is awesome. Guys, we're going to wrap it up. It is 7:32, 8:32 Eastern, 6:32 Mountain Time Zone. So, guys, I'm going to do a quick recap. Thank you again, Carly, so much. I cannot wait to see you in Salt Lake City here in a few months. Excited about it. Awesome stuff. All right, guys, quick recap on the call today. So these are just some of the notes I got. I've got a lot more. I'm going to do a quick recap. Top performer have to have sacrifice in something, right? So she's got 2 young, cute little boys, and she still works the system. But you have to sacrifice something if you want to be a top performer in anything. She wants to make sure her team sees the best version of her. She can't lead a team unless she's personally riding eagles herself. 6 out of the 10 agents she's trained, she rode an eagle that first week with them. That is awesome. She's always getting referrals. Eating an elephant, you eat an elephant one bite at a time, always collecting referrals. And the M&M analogy about getting those 25 contacts is awesome. If you just, have 25 M&Ms, every contact, you just eat an M&M, it makes the day go a lot faster. It's really not that big of a deal. But just making sure that you just go to the next business, whether you want to or not. She's very strong at her group presentation, and that came with a lot of practice. And sitting in the shit with her clients is what she says, is what she's also very strong at. Her job is to educate people on what we do, and then they can make an educated decision whether this is a good fit for them or not. Let me just show you what you do, and then you can make a decision on it. Sound good? Boom. She's very, very assumptive. You are finding a need and filling the need, and you will be successful in this career. She's highly assumptive. Whenever she's, gets done with her quick intro, when's a good time for me to come back and chat with you for a few minutes? And they're like, oh, well, if they ask more questions, I'll just show it to you right now for 5 more minutes, right? She's just very assumptive, and she's really good at name dropping. So what I did for XYZ company, XYZ company, XYZ company is this. Would Thursday at 3 o'clock or Friday at 7 a.m. work better for you guys? She's just very assumptive about setting up those enrollments/appointments. And she's not asking, would this be a good fit for you guys? Are you interested? She doesn't do that. She's very assumptive in her language. And that just breeds that success onto the clients as well. And it shows confidence as well. Not really asking permission. She's asking for the win, asking for the sit down. I brought breakfast to so-and-so company. Want to be a good time to do that for you guys. Also, she's very educated on the competitors, understanding that with Aflac, they don't really want to go to a lot of the small businesses, and they do things through payroll. We don't have to do that. We don't have a certain amount of people that have to sign up with us. And we don't give any extra work for the HR people. That is a game changer. When you say that, like, hey, I know Aflac, they just give you tons of extra work to do. And if they ever want to make adjustments, they got to go through you first. Well, not here. With us, whoever signs up for it, it's all done by us. And if they ever want to make adjustments or have a claim, they go through me, not through you. So you're the hero. That's what you said. You're the hero because you get to offer these awesome benefits. We don't have to do anything for it. It's a win-win situation. It's literally a no-brainer. So who would not be interested in that? But also, she's a top performer. It's just her mindset. This is one of my favorite parts. She just has the mindset, fighting those battles every single day. The person inside of our head is not always nice. Okay, sometimes we think things like, what if this next business owner is mean? What if this? What if they're busy? Instead of saying what if, say why not. Say why not? Why not now? Now is the best time. And having those positive affirmations for yourself whenever you get into pity city is very important. And she said, I think it was a song, Affirmations by Snoop Dogg, I think is what she said, is a song that she's memorized. I've never heard of that, so I'm excited about listening to that myself. And she even makes her team sing along with her. And that app, it's called I Am. It spits out affirmations every few minutes, and you can just say those out loud to yourself, and it just helps you feel grateful for the opportunity that you have. And some of those affirmations, I deserve success. I deserve love. It'll make you be the best version of yourself. And the last thing is just making sure that you're putting positive content into your brain. Making sure you're putting positive content into your brain, reading great books. When you're driving to your territory, not listening to murder stories, a podcast. You can listen to those murder stories when you're driving home if that's what you're interested in. But listen to cool things on the drive home, but positive content on the drive to your territory, just getting yourself in the zone, just like a professional athlete, right? Before they play basketball, they get in the zone. They listen to things that get them in the zone. And she referenced some really good books. Can't Hurt Me was one of those, and a few more. And just making sure that she's really good at getting those stories out of clients. The cancer stories, the heart, the accident stories. She says sitting in the shit with them. So, but she's really good at, once you get those stories, thank them for sharing those stories, showing empathy. Thank you so much, Maria, for sharing that story. I know that's a big deal. Like, I appreciate you sharing that story with me. And not trying to use that story against them. You use that story with them to help them see the need. And so when you ask those questions later on, you're with them, not against them. And there's a big difference. And it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Just having a big bonding atmosphere all the time. Hey, I'll show it to you if you like it, great. If not, no big deal, but at least you know what it is, right? And she sells, she's leveled herself up to when she sits down with somebody, she builds a knee so big, they buy everything because she's really good at the job. Okay. You may not be at that skill set yet, but guys, that's what the future of this career is. That's what it's going to look like for everybody on this call. Just keep leveling yourself up. And you guys could be in that exact same situation, leading a team. She's only been here for a year, and she's top 15 in team and personal sales. She's going to be a straight powerhouse. So excited to see her on the other trips that we have this year. She's awesome. All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap up. It is 7:38 here in Dallas, Texas. I'm at an AO meeting. I get back late tonight. It is 8:38 Eastern time. Let's go out there, shake some hands, go be the best version of ourselves today. And we'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Have a great day. Have a great day, guys.